Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Howie. Oh, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. We have to start with the Boston Red Sox. As season ticket holders for the Red Sox, we are 1 week away. Tomorrow is opening day, right? It's Thursday, right? March 30th is opening day, boys. Look, all of a sudden, if you guys watched the World Baseball Championship, Yoshida looked incredible.
Oh boy, here he goes.
Oh,
Here he goes, Scotty's
Yep.
BFF high and
Sign him up for another 10 years.
Yeah, let's sign Yoshida now. Can we sign him for another 5?
Boys, you know me.
In baseball.
You know me so well. I was like, we only have him signed for 5 years. Hey, what's this?
10 years, 40 million a year.
Well, he's
Strike while the iron's hot.
Well, look, first of all, all the bullshit we heard about evaluators across Major League Baseball saying what an overpay was and stuff. This was high-end competition this last few weeks, and this guy's starting it. He can play. He can definitely play in the major leagues.
Apparently this week, let's hope he's not streaky. And he peaked this week,
But he looks like a player.
And it's not a lot of minor league pitchers too in that.
But he can play. I mean, Russ,
look, he's certainly he played really well. Like, we can only go by what we've seen, and from what we've seen, he played really well. That's fantastic. Like, that's great news by any measure, right?
He's very small, isn't he?
Very
you
small.
see him?
Yeah.
Very small.
If he had stuck out like this week, we'd be bashing him. So
no question.
Of course.
That home run, the big home run, was to right field, opposite field too.
Well, off a lefty. It looks like a guy. He looks like a guy that's going to do very well at Yankee Stadium. He looks like
that'd be great.
He has a very nice swing. Does this, if Yoshida ends up being a 300 hitter, 20 home runs, 90 RBIs, does this kind of lighten the load a little bit on the loss of Xander?
On the loss of Xander?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, outfielder versus a shortstop, big hitting shortstop versus a big hitting outfielder. I don't. Yes, a little. I mean, look, any good player we add to the equation is fantastic, but I don't know that. I wouldn't put him in Xander's category.
I don't know, Timmy. Look, 20 home runs and 80, 90 RBIs is Xander numbers.
So what are we settling for here now? What are we as satisfied fans?
As a Yoshida production?
I don't care how he does if they come in last place. I don't care.
I know, but we're talking about one player.
I know.
And you only spent.
I guess I don't think in those terms. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say, oh, I'm happy with Hines because this guy hit 300. It's going to take a lot more than that to make me happy with what Hines has done.
Oh my God. If they're down in the 4th inning of opening day, Timmy's done.
Scotty, we've seen what he's done. I mean,
it's true.
He's got to have a. He took the best team in the history of the Red Sox, that 2018 team, and he has eviscerated it. He's gotten rid of everyone except for Chrissy Sale.
Timmy's going to have a very
trash pile, and I'm going to be happy with them. No, it's going to take a lot more than that to make me I'm still getting over Mookie Betts. Never mind Xander.
That's a great point. Look, what talent evaluator who has a job still in this league after watching the WBC would say, I don't think Mookie Betts and Schwarber should be on our team. I mean, we're talking about we're talking about superstars and with big personalities. That's why you have a franchise to put guys in this.
Those are the kind of guys who sell tickets.
I'm not blaming Chaim for Mookie. He was told to trade Mookie, obviously, but No, just Timmy's going to have a very short fuse this year. Very short. I'm a little concerned about our seatmates in section 30. It's going to be rough.
Here's the thing. They had me back 2 years ago.
Totally.
And they kicked me to the curb.
Timmy's just going to be going to get those sausages that he fell in love with. And then he ends up.
I'm like an alcoholic, at a wedding, who tells his wife he's going up to the bar to get a beer, and you have two at the bar and then you bring two back to the table. I say I'm going to get a sausage at the stand, and then I go back to the seat with one.
He loves his sausages. Look, give me the stuff. What is Yoshida bat? Where is he? A third hitter?
He's going to be batting fourth, I think. He's going to be hitting cleanup.
So what's the starting lineup right now? Cases.
So who is it going to be? Kike leading off again?
I think it's Cassis.
I think it is Cassis.
I think it's Cassis. Yeah.
Cassis? What?
He's
Arroyo?
He's a good on base man. I think he'll be a good on base man, but kind of big for a leadoff guy.
Can he move? I mean, you're supposed to have.
He's not very fast.
Won't clog the bases.
He's not the speedy
right?
guy.
Can you remember a season where we had less feel about the starting nine than we do now?
No.
Really
Well, it was hard. You couldn't even follow them in spring training because of the WBC. Everyone was scattered all over the world.
And we talk about Nana Chrissy pitching and how many times is he going to pitch. The fact is, even if he does pitch, he may be shitty.
Yeah. Did you see his outing yesterday?
Yeah, he gets
6 earned runs in about 3 innings.
Yeah, right. I mean, where is it that even when he pitched in the last few years, he was any good?
Yeah, there was no evidence of anything. I
Yeah.
mean, he just didn't pitch, so he never proved that he could. He's older. I mean, he's significantly older than the last time he was taking the mound regularly.
All right, well, boys, opening day again, I'll repeat, is next week. What are we excited about? I mean, this is the Boston Red Sox. I mean, anything, guys?
I have tickets for Chris Sale Bucket Hat Day.
I mean, I'm excited to see certain players. Like, first off, I'm excited that these games are going to be at a much better pace and much shorter. I just think it's going to be a more enjoyable experience, whether we're winning or losing, right? So that's one thing.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see Yoshida play. I'm interested to see, Casas play. I'm interested to see Bayo pitch.
Right.
Whitlock, I love watching play.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give, we'll see what Tucker does. So, look, I'll keep an open mind. I'm not going to just go in, spewing, hey, we'll keep an open mind. And, look, if they start by winning 7 out of 10 games, they'll have my interest.
Timmy, are you convinced?
They're going to have to earn. They're going to have to earn.
That's a given that their April is going to really depend. That's going to depend on how they do in April. Is going to show you what kind of interest we'll have for the rest of the season.
Well, with the
I'm going to ask the question: is this Hine or is it Hine following orders? I mean,
that's the great question. Like you said, Russ, Heim following orders to get rid of Betts, but moving forward, was it Heim's orders not to sign Schwarber? I don't think so.
No, those are all GM level decisions. There was an owner level decision on Mookie, I think, but I think the rest of these decisions were all GM level.
Do you think Xander was GM?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't. If the owners wanted to sign him, they could have signed him, right? Like I don't think the owners. I think if Chaim went to the owners and said, "I want to sign Xander," they probably would have done it.
I mean, is John Henry sitting on the Iroquois down in the Bahamas with Todd English cooking him meals? Is he calling up to Hines saying, make sure we sign this guy, do anything you got to do to sign him? Or I'm curious to what the communication is on something like that with these guys.
John Henry tells Heim, make me money. Simple as that. And if Heim doesn't make him money, then Heim doesn't have a job.
Well, look, guys, you guys.
What if you lose all that revenue by losing a bunch of games and losing the city's interest?
Then you lose your job.
Well, look at the. I don't know if you guys are following this. There's huge news going on in Major League Baseball right now with this, with the Bally Sports going under. There are like 19 teams that currently will not have any TV or rights anymore.
That's also half the NHL too is Bally,
and they're losing all the TV money.
Yep.
At the same time, Major League Baseball is scrambling. They don't even know what to do. They're going to end up having to go into the business of TV. It's not going to be separate anymore. And there's going to be a lot of problems, and there's going to be a lot of money lost. The two teams that don't currently have that problem right now are the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees, because they have Yes and NESN. But they're still losing.
Interesting.
They're still losing 30% of cable subscribers over 1 year, which means revenues being cut dramatically in Yes Network and NESN. So I don't think that, the bottom line is I don't think there's that extra money anymore.
Mm.
Well, these crazy contracts keep getting thrown out there. I mean, look at that Xander contract. I mean, that is ludicrous.
Yeah, are you getting? And how many people are going to pay for the $35 a month for NESN Plus to watch the Red Sox?
People aren't going to do it.
It's not going to happen.
No. And NESN will only show the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs with the Bruins. Then it goes to the network. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, then it goes to network.
So
it's always been that way, though.
But there's no enticement, Joe, to pick up NESN Plus for that either.
Yeah. Because the Red Sox, it's like Tim and Russ said, they're on a Missouri contract. Show me, and then we'll come back.
But this may be a thing where all of a sudden the finances of baseball guys is going to completely change.
I got to tell you, I've been a little surprised that baseball's been able to keep it going. I mean, the games, I love what they're doing this year. They had to do it, but I just don't run into many people, especially with the season that the Red Sox had last year, that give two craps about Major League Baseball right now. Us guys, excluded, but my brothers don't care one hoot about the Red Sox. My kids could kind of take them or leave them.
I know it's a problem.
When I was growing up, we were like, if you got a set of Sox tickets, it was a huge deal.
Look, and going down the whole gambling road, we know that's not going to go well. It never does. You go into these areas like the Detroits of the world, they start going into casinos and stuff and think it's going to save those areas, and it never does.
Yeah.
Look at Atlantic City and every other place.
We're going to have to see. We'll have to see how these rule changes, if it has any effect on exactly what Timmy's brought up, which is if the pace of the game is better, it's more athletic, it's over faster, it's 2.5 hours. Maybe it brings some fans back. It could bring some fans back. The Red Sox would have to play well in Boston for the fans.
It'll be more TV friendly given that too. If it's get better pace, and they have a better time slot for it. If they have it at 2.5 hours, and they can just sell everything at 2.5 hours. Before, you didn't know whether it was going to be 2.5 hours or 4.5 hours. Almost impossible to sell.
Well, they're going to go. The Red Sox are going to be able to play April and May in silence because obviously everybody's going to be concentrating on the Celtics and the Bruins. So they're fortunate in that way. Even if they start playing poorly, they're not going to get much ridicule because no one's going to give a shit because they're going to be focusing on the winning a couple of championships. That's where I mean, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of crowds they get in April.
If they start
and do they paper the house? They were papering the house a lot last year, right? With younger, and there'll still be students in town, so you could see if the weather's decent, they'll get some students into Fenway.
Yeah.
Hey, for $5, that's cheap entertainment for kids. They just walk down the street and they're there.
All right, boys, it's time to predict the win total. This is happening. This is our annual tradition. If you remember, 2
Not
years
the high
ago,
90s.
2 years ago, they were 81 games was the over under. I bet the over. Last year, I don't even remember what the over under
You
was.
picked 97 wins last year, as I recall.
Oh my!
So that was the over you were picking.
What was the total? What was the total wins last year?
Oh wow, they were in the 70s, right?
I think they were under
Yeah.
500, so it had to be 70s.
Yeah, they were in the 70s. Yeah, they were terrible. All right, I'm not picking 97, Timmy, this year. 76 is the over under. All right, we'll start with Timmy because I
76 is the over under right now.
Yeah, 76.
76 and a half I got.
Am I
Yeah.
picking over or under, or am I picking total wins?
No, total wins.
Total wins.
Total wins. I'm saying 70.
Ooh, very pessimistic.
That's optimistic. That's a really bad team. What are we talking about? 70 wins.
He said pessimistic.
Oh, pessimistic. Oh, you said that. Yeah, that's a really shit. That's 8 games
They
away.
were horrible. They were 70 something last year. They're worse this year.
Oh,
70 and 92.
oh my God. We won't
22 games under 500.
What are we gonna do if
They're
that?
going to be out of it in late June.
If they won't even be in late June. I mean,
Yeah.
late
They'll
Memorial
be
Day.
mathematically eliminated in late June.
Mathematically eliminated May 31st.
Oh my God, that hurt. All right, Russell.
I have I'm trending a little bit more optimistic. So the number that I have in my head is 86. I think they'll win 86 games.
That is optimistic.
There'll be a few, there'll be a handful of games over 500. It could be garbage time wins. I think a couple of these guys will do a little bit better than we expected.
What could 86? There's no way 86 gets you a wild card, does it?
Probably not. Like, I think they'll miss the playoffs. They'll be in contention, like make-believe contention, for a while.
Everyone in that division could be over 500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I worry about.
But remember, they don't play a heavy.
Yeah.
They
No more
have
19 games. Yeah. It's a
more
balance.
balanced schedule.
Yep.
Right.
I
Okay,
think they only
Yeah.
play the East 10 times instead of 19. now.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
that and obviously the East we're going to be beating up on each other. Will that generate more composite victories for the East because they don't have to play each other as much? Probably, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They can't
would think
lose.
so.
So
Yeah.
then you're
Sounds
then 86 really doesn't do you any good.
Probably not. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but I think they'll be a little bit better than we think,
Well, better
or
than
a
70.
lot better than Timmy thinks.
Oh
Yeah.
my God!
A lot
All
better
right.
than Timmy
The only optimistic thing I see is I ran into somebody the other day and I said, "Oh, the Red Sox are going to stink." And he said to me, every year there's teams that are expected to do absolutely nothing, and they end up coming out of nowhere to have good seasons. He said, "I could see that happening to the Red Sox this year," and that was like my only ray of sunshine, this entire winter about the Red Sox.
Timmy, you just predicted 70 and 92.
No, but I think it's going to happen. It's not going to happen, but it gave me like a little bit of hope that he might have a point every
Jim will actually show up on opening day.
every year there's a few teams, in all the sports, especially football, really, that start the year with no optimism at all, and they kind of surprise everyone and have a good year.
Well, there's.
But I don't think that's going to happen. But it's like that thing. I what are the chances of me getting lucky with you today? And she says 1%, and the guy says, "So I have a chance." I mean.
All right, Joseph.
Okay, well, I've invested a large amount of money in them being over that 76 and a half.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to hear the professor on the optimistic side.
Yeah,
but I was thinking about right around 500. So 81, 82.
Oh, so 81?
Yeah, go 81.
Oh, wow. Because that's what I was going to do. But I can't do that. All right.
I'll go 82 if you want 81.
No, I'm going to be a little more optimistic. Not with Russell. I just want to kind of hide a little bit and not say 97. No, but I was thinking that they're going to surprise some people, and I think that the kids like Mata, who are going to be up pretty quickly, and Walter, I think you're going to get a lot of contribution during the course of the season from the minor league system as well. You should. We need to start seeing these kids. We've been hearing these names for a long time. I'm going to go 83. And
okay, we're only a few games off.
yeah.
Where they're not going to be playing the East as much, they can beat up on the Twins and the White Sox and the Athletics.
Yeah.
You know?
No, Joe, if you did a head-to-head roster with those teams, I think we would come out on the downside.
Probably, but could we have a good manager? You know, it's they probably have more depth than a lot of those cheaper teams. So,
well, I think if we had this bullpen last year, that we would have won over 81 games. We would have been.
Oh, and the Bali situation that you mentioned earlier, a lot of teams will probably pull in their horns and trim the budget a little.
Absolutely, yeah. This is something to be concerned about. All finance.
It hasn't affected the NHL so much, at least that I've noticed, and they're heavily in. They have all almost all the NHL teams.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to the New England Patriots. We're switching it over to
Nice.
Look, the free agency this week was really about what the middle class. The Patriots are always about the middle class. Except for that one particular year where they got Judon and Juno Smith. They're back to getting guys who depth pieces. Do you guys like the depth pieces?
Yeah, I especially like like Jasicki and Juju Smith-Schuster, more big guys. Remember they were the Smurfs. Now I think they got the biggest wide receiver room in the league.
Yeah,
everyone's
they're very tall,
6'1" and over. And that Jasicki's like 6'6". He's like Gronk size.
Yeah, Russ Jasicki is to me, he's all about the red zone, which they were horrific in this year.
They were horrible. Jasicki is 6'6", as Joe said. He's kind of slippery, got long arms, can't block. I mean, just evidently a horrendous blocker. So he's much more like a big receiver.
Yeah.
But I'll take that in the red zone. And Smith-Schuster is he can run after the catch. I mean, I liked Jacoby Myers, but dude fell down every time he caught the ball. He would take 2 steps, he'd be on the ground. It was unbelievable to watch.
I rethought my assessment of that. That Jacoby Myers did fall down. He caught the ball and then fell. He went nowhere. At least Juju give you something afterwards,
We always root for the undrafted free agent guys.
That's why Jacoby never got the touchdowns, because he wouldn't run into the end zone.
That's also why we faced, it seemed, 5 million 3rd and 1 last year and converted none of them. Every wide receiver seemed to be short to the stick. And
this Jasicki lines up in the slot as much or more than he did inline tight end. So that's a very big slot target when you're looking for a 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3 type target.
Yeah, he's a straight line. Apparently, I read somewhere someone said he turns like a boat, which I love that line. But yeah, look, he's a certain role, but he's a big kid, and a lot of and Parker and stuff. A lot of this is guys who are covered who can go up and get the ball.
Yeah.
We've definitely went an uptick in the receiver department.
Okay, Damian Harris goes. Damian Harris was a good player, but he couldn't stay on the field. James Robinson, who I like, comes. Is that a wash?
Nah, Harris is a really good running back. It's just he couldn't stay on the field. That's why he's not here. That's why he had to sign a 1-year contract. They'll probably get someone in the draft.
We did. Didn't we do that, Russ? We got
had 2 guys last year.
Yeah, Strong and
2 young guys last year. Yeah, Strong and Harris.
Yeah,
right.
Where do they fit? Are they going to be cut?
Maybe one of them makes it, but look, I don't think it'll matter if Ramondre Stevenson is healthy. It's not going to matter really who that second back is, right? I mean, Montgomery might, not Montgomery, Robinson might be able to catch it a little bit more than Harris, did.
but
He's sort of like a Ty Montgomery type, right?
Ramondre, though, is very limited as a running back. He's more effective as a receiver. He hasn't made the adjustment to the pro running back. He still needs a lead blocker. Where they don't have a fullback anymore, last year they were using pulling guards and even pulling the tight end around to lead them. And when they don't have a lead blocker, he can't run. He has to learn that to be, an effective every down back.
Timmy, do you need a big splash, or is this okay for you?
I do see, I love the tight end signing. And I think, like I just said, Juju's an upgrade. Who was in town? Someone's picture was at the airport there.
That's always a joke. That's a joke meme.
Is that a joke?
Yeah, that's always
that's a ball sack joke.
Ball sack.
Ball sack.
Ball sack.
It popped up on my phone. I go, oh, look at this,
Yeah.
I can't see them being worse. I just can't. I think they've had a couple of good drafts, and these kids are going to get a little better. So I think
that division though is tough, Tim.
It is tough, but I think we're trending. I'm not really afraid of if the Jets get dickhead there. And I think
Aaron Rodgers.
I think Tua's brain is scrambled at this point. I think he won't last past 3 games. Buffalo, they showed some chinks in the armor last year.
They've lost a lot of guys. Buffalo lost a lot
of guys, and kind of the shine went off the penny a little bit on Allen in the playoffs there, and he's still going to be a force, but they lost a lot of guys. I think we have more of a shot this year of maybe making the playoffs than we did last year.
Okay, does Hopkins or Odell Beckham come to the Patriots?
If the price comes down, this over the next week or two, I could see it, but I don't think what's interesting about just generally where they are right now is they're in a position now that they re-signed Mills. They're sort of in a position where they could use help in multiple places, but there's no screaming need, right? They have a full set of receivers. They have a full defensive backfield. They have guys on the line. I think they should be drafted on an offensive tackle in the first or the second round.
Yeah.
Right? I think they should be drafting.
They have to shore the offensive line. It was middle of the pack. We need a good offensive line. A top tier offensive line.
And Joe, some of those rookie offensive linemen, they can step right in and play, right? Like that's a position where you can step in and play your rookie year on a good line.
Yeah, as long as you can fit in with the other guys and everyone meshes. It's the one unit in football where they have to play as a team within a team. But if you got the size and the talent, you can start week 1, start for the next 15 years. That's why it's a great position.
What starting old lineman would you like to see just ejected right now?
What ejected
from last year? Who don't you want to see starting this year? That was on that starting.
Well, obviously, Isaiah Wynn is gone. He's a free agent. Nobody wanted to see him.
Well, it looks like they're going to have Riley Reef playing that right tackle.
Yeah.
So it won't be. The kid there from the Jets practice squad. He did yeoman's work. For a guy just thrown to the wolves like that. But I think they're going to have Riley Reef doing it for 1 year. So maybe they'll draft someone so that they'll have someone cheap coming up for next year.
Do you see us taking an old lineman at 14?
If the best one available is there, yes.
Should be somebody pretty good there, right?
What I can see if like that Jalen Carter, if he starts to slip, they'll trade up to get someone like that. To get a defense, tackle.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know, but that guy's got more issues off the field, and
Yeah, just the only issue was that celebration and after winning the national championship.
No,
Drag
Joe,
racing.
he did his pro day. He was 10 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
He couldn't even finish the cones.
Mhm.
I mean, this guy's partying
Yeah.
his way into the third round.
That happens all the time. Happens all the time with the big guys.
Russ, who do you want?
I'm more with Tim. I just think like Mac Jones is the kind of quarterback you need the best line that you could reasonably put together, and
Agreed.
you need to draft a young tackle. That's a period, right? We got two young guards. We've got Andrews is hanging on, but we don't have a young tackle. We have Riley Reif and we got Trent Brown, who's going to be time limited. So. Yeah. I want the best possible, offensive lineman. That's who I would do. And then they're going to need a cornerback too. They're going to need to draft a taller cornerback somewhere along the way.
Do you think they might trade Trent Brown? He's only 29. It seems like he's older, but he's only 29.
Yeah.
I want
Maybe, but you're going to have to pay him if you don't. I mean, if you keep him,
a rookie be cheaper.
He plays left tackle, you're going to have to pay him as a left tackle. They're paying him as a right tackle.
Yeah,
they have him playing left tackle, but they're paying him as a right tackle.
Yeah,
I'm looking at a mock draft right now. They have the first offensive lineman going at 13 to the Jets, Peter Skoronski, and the Patriots taking Paris Johnson out of Ohio State at 14.
You're not taking a receiver at 14. That's just
no. Paris Johnson's an offensive tackle. And I heard that the Patriots sent a whole bunch of. There's multiple coaches at the Ohio State Pro Day today.
Great, bring them on, Timmy. Paris Johnson.
I've seen a lot of mock drafts having the Patriots trade up to like 10 to take him.
6'6", 313.
All right. Okay.
So I guess it's a decision. Who do you like more, Skoronski or Paris Johnson?
Skoronski's got short arms, but he's considered the better player.
Yeah, it does. And then I think the rest of the cap money, they got about 13 million left or whatever. I think it's about just re-up Duger and Onwenu and Uche and call it a cap, right? Because they got to lock those guys up, especially Duger.
Well, I don't think they're going to lock up Uche. They're probably going to draft. If they might be able to draft a good edge, and that would put Uche back in. I
don't know. Looks like Uche figured it out.
You know, if they can get, they don't have an edge that can rush the quarterback right now. Judon and Uche both have to be freed up either by scheme or by stunting or something. You never see them taking on a tackle one-on-one and getting to the quarterback. Doesn't happen. You need a guy that can do that.
So you guys, if you remember, I think I'm more optimistic about the offseason and where we're headed into the season than we were a year ago. Would you guys agree?
I am, but there's one thing that I just think it will be their Achilles heel is, beyond the offensive line is just don't have any speed at linebacker. And just like every single team that every week I watch these teams that have speedy guys at linebacker, and these guys are all over the field making plays, breaking up passes and stuff. And we have just plotters, Clydesdales.
Yeah. When we try a screen pass, their guy comes in and blows it up. When the other team has a screen pass that goes for 10, 15 yards.
Dante Hightower retired, one of my favorites, and I know you all favorite defensive players in the history of the Patriots and me watching the Patriots. Yeah. Let's talk about Dante Hightower, as clutch of a performer as we've ever seen in football.
Yeah.
He made big play after big play.
If he doesn't make that play in Atlanta, we don't have a Super Bowl.
If he doesn't make the play in Seattle, take Marshawn Lynch down.
With a bum shoulder there, too.
Yep. Two Super Bowl winning plays.
2 Super Bowl winning, but that's kid. He was always that kid was always clutch.
Yeah.
He was a great Patriot, a great.
When you needed a play, they'd say on the sidelines, someone's got to make a play. He'd go out and do it.
Who would you have, if you were starting a team, I don't want to be as positive as if you were starting a team of linebackers and either Bruschi or Hightower, who would you have taken?
McGinnis.
No, come on. Bruschi or Hightower? Russell.
Here's the thing about Bruschi. He just had a knack for being in the right place at the right time.
Oh,
No,
Vrabel, you could put in that category too. He was a playmaker at the linebacker.
Okay, Bruschi or Hightower?
Physically, Hightower is probably superior to Bruschi. I think Bruschi had a higher football IQ. That's a tough pick, Scott.
Yeah. Oh, you got to pick one.
I got to pick one. Bruschi probably had better guys around him. Maybe that's why he was able to shine a little more. I think I'd go Hightower.
Yeah. Russell?
Hightower.
Joe?
Yeah, it's Hightower. I think he's had even more higher football IQ than Bruschi. Bruschi was more versatile, but Hightower knew what was going on, where to be when he had to be there.
But also, Hightower is just a lot physically bigger than Bruschi.
There's a lot of aspects to it.
Right.
And,
but Bruschi used every ounce of God-given ability, and he had a great knack for being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Look, we had a lot of good linebackers like that. Vrabel, Ninkovich, they were all playmakers, guys that were in the right place at the right time. Now we don't have anyone like that.
Now we have nobody.
So McCourty said that some players on the Patriots wanted Zappy.
The defensive players.
I didn't hear him say that.
Yeah.
I can see that, Scotty. I think I wonder if half of this team is looking at Mac Jones, kind of like they were looking at who was that wussy quarterback that we had there?
Tony Eason.
Tony Eason. Yeah.
I think they're looking at him like Tony Eason-ish type of guy. I tell you, I wanted Zap. I'm fucking sick of Mac Jones and his whining, and he's like
I think Mac will be all right if they give him. His problem is he's a lot like Tony Eason. He's got a skirt on, but if you give him a good line and he's confident and he got receivers, he'll be fine.
Well, Joe, this is it this year. This is it.
Oh yeah, this is it.
Wait, I'm going to say that Tony Eason had a better arm than Mac Jones. Am I wrong?
Oh yeah, much better.
Had a good arm.
He was good.
Yeah. No. Right. Yeah. Well, he was fantastic, and
But he was always looking over his left shoulder too.
Look, I was there for the Squish the Fish game. He played incredible that AFC Championship game. He was perfect. I mean, so does Mac Jones make it to opening day? I mean, because when D-Mac says something like that, it feels like there's a lot of shit going on that we're not.
I think here's the thing, though. I think that they hit the reset button. They're wiping the slate clean, whatever metaphor you want, and they're gonna start fresh with Bill O'Brien as the running a pro caliber, NFL caliber offensive system, and I don't think you're going to have any holdover from last year.
I mean, obviously, yeah. Apparently, Judge is still going to be in the coaching staff. Does he end up going into special teams, or where's he?
He was very successful there, that's for sure.
But he was in the offense. He was what? He was the
quarterback coach.
Special teams were horrible. The worst special teams I've seen in since Brady arrived.
Well, they have signed like 3 special teamers in these free agent pickups.
Quarter in the market and special teams only players. That's a great way to build a roster in 2023.
It probably lost us the special teams probably lost us 2 games last year.
Yeah, we were supposed to.
You know who the two worst special teams? You know the 2 worst special teams in NFL last year were by Rick Gosselin, who rates them. The 2 Super Bowl teams.
Oh yeah,
that's how little special teams matter these days. They were
usually. Andy Reid is
second rated. Did you deny that special teams lost us probably 2 games last year?
Oh, I did. But my point is, like, generally speaking, no one, like, it doesn't, hardly any kicks get returned. We had to be really bad to have special teams.
Well, we did have that one game against the Jets where the punt return was the whole game.
No, but the reason, Russell, was once Bailey went out, Folk was doing the kickoffs and he couldn't put it in the end zone.
terrible.
So that's
Yeah.
where all this stuff
Right.
became in play. Like you said, if Bailey's
Right.
there, he's kicking in the end zone. We don't even think about it.
It's over. You're probably making the playoffs. Jesus.
I mean, and that Belichick didn't go out during the season and just get a guy who could kick it into the end zone, which was only a million of those guys. I don't know what Folk was doing.
I was watching a kid at Milton Academy do it 3 years ago. That kid Yoon.
Yeah, I mean,
in high school, he was kicking out of the end zone.
All right, boys, we're gonna go to the Boston Celtics, and all I hear about is Joe Mazzulla. He is a lightning rod like I've never seen for a team that is, considered one of the potential winners of the championship. Does anyone like Joe Mazzulla?
Well, he's got a terrible record in the close games. That's that he runs the same plays over and over and over and over. That halfback option to Tatum that worked once, and he's used it 6 times in a row since has been failures. It just, you get tired. Do something different, Joe. Come on.
Is there enough basketball experience in the coaching staff to allow this team to go where we want them to go?
Maybe not. It's a legitimate question.
Yeah.
There's an inconsistency about him that drives me crazy, which is, he's all about the stats, this stat, that stat, winning in the margins, and then he'll ignore the stats late in a close game and won't play Derek White, who the stats have told you all year long is is the third most consistently effective player on the team, and he can't get into a game against the Utah Jazz in the fourth quarter. Like, I don't understand that.
Especially when you're on, you side out, bringing the ball in on offense after a timeout. You want your best offense out there.
Do you think this guy, Timmy, the personalities and that, we talk about him, the doghouse with Grant Williams, do you think there's some personalities that are affecting his personnel moves?
The coach last year was clearly the alpha male. He was in charge. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't think Mazzulla is the alpha male right now. And that's what this team needed, right? We had the talent. We had, the Marcus Smarts of the world, like as a setting kind of the pace of play. You know what I mean? Like, would die to make a defensive play. I think you needed that alpha dog, to make Tatum accountable, and Tatum accountable mostly. Yeah. I guess Brown seems to do okay. He doesn't seem to need to be prodded much. So I think we dropped a notch in the coaching. I really do.
Is Al Horford more qualified to be the head coach of the Boston Celtics than Joe Mazzulla?
Probably not, but it's a nice idea.
No, I don't think so. Look, here's I've been pretty negative on them over the last few weeks. That win last night gives you a little bit of hope. Here's the good news. To me, it just comes down to, like, is Rob Williams, can he stay healthy for a playoff run? Because if Rob Williams can stay healthy for a playoff run, that's a game changer. And you could, on offense and on defense, and you can win the championship even despite Joe Mazzulla if Rob Williams stays healthy for, the next 10 weeks.
He changes everything defensively.
He makes Tatum so much better.
Yep.
For one thing right there, he makes Tatum better defensively. He makes Tatum better offensively, just because he's not getting double and triple teams, and he's got an outlet. Just lob it up to you get in trouble. Lob it up to Rob.
Yep.
And Tatum can play a whole different kind of defense when he knows Rob's going to be behind him.
That's right.
The rim. Just for that alone, Rob is invaluable.
Did they put him on ice?
I think they kept him out an extra 3-4 games. He probably could have come back a week or so ago.
I mean, this is the
right.
Look, and then if he can't make it through the playoffs, moving forward, he has no value.
I think
He's under contract.
I think yeah, I mean you could trade him. You actually could trade him because his contract is amazing, and there will be a team that takes a shot at the upside on it.
Yeah,
but
he's getting less money than Grant Williams will probably get.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. He makes $12 million a year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you think you could get
easily
a first round, a top, like a lottery type pick for him?
You maybe a lottery protected pick. You could get a pick in the between 10 and 20 for Rob Williams for sure.
I mean, the guy has a huge upside. We all, even when he was finding his way when he was very young, when he came into the game, like everyone just get up in their seat because he's fun to watch.
Yeah,
he's a jumpy. I haven't seen someone jump like that since Russell. It's just that he can't. The jumping kills his knees.
Well, would you agree with this statement? The Celtics will win the championship if everybody on the playing roster is healthy. Otherwise, anyone they miss any of those guys, they don't.
Well, Scotty, I kind of wish you asked a different question. Is Missoula to me is the variable here. Is he up to bringing this team to a championship?
It's a tough task. Here he is he got thrown into this situation. He's a rookie. He's never been there before. This is all new ground. That's why you wish there was an experienced hand leading this good a team.
I saw the Knicks outcoached them for a win. That was
Thibodeau is always going to do that.
Well, he's a good coach.
Yeah,
right?
good.
I mean, we're going to have let's put it this way. We're going to have the coaching disadvantage in every series.
Yes.
I think that
great
goes
point.
without
In the
saying.
playoffs.
So, Scott, I think your question is, I think their only chance at winning will be if everyone's healthy and productive, and they still might not win it. And by the way, it won't necessarily be because of Missoula. The Milwaukee Bucks are really, really good. Like the Celtics could play well, Missoula could coach well. They could lose a 7-game series to Milwaukee.
But Scotty, if we play well, do you think, like if we play up to here's the problem when they play good, they show us what they can be, and then when they play bad, we're upset because we know what they're capable of.
That's right.
Well, I just think their depth. I think we have the best depth when we're healthy. We have the best depth in basketball.
I think we are the best when they're playing right. I think they're the best team in basketball.
Healthy, I do that. I do agree with you.
Yeah, I don't really argue against that. But here's the other bit of good news, because I've been Dr. Death with the Celtics recently, is their record against the best teams is very good.
Yes.
Meaning the thing that kills us, Timmy, the thing that drives us crazy is they play down to competition, right? But they do play up to competition too, right? So, that's a good sign for the playoffs. Their mind shouldn't wander very much in the playoffs. Remember, their minds did not really wander last year in the playoffs. Golden State just figured them out. And once Golden State figured out the code, it was over.
Yeah. If Wiggins is hurt.
Last year we didn't have
that would be helpful.
We didn't have the depth that we have this year. I mean we
didn't have Brogdon.
We kind of got worn out. They got worn out, and this year we have the depth. So I think Brad has done a tremendous job of shoring up that bench, the deepest bench I can ever remember the Celtics having. So now it's going to be up to the coach to get them in the right frame of mind and put the right plays in to. They're the best team. So what is they have the best team. So what it comes down to, are they properly managed? Are the games properly managed? That's my point. And does he properly motivate them?
Look, I'm not going to say that Brad has gotten a free pass as general manager because he's done such an extraordinary job. It's not a free pass. We've reviewed everything he's done. It's been incredible. But is Brad Stevens the not fall guy, but is he the guy who takes the most responsibility in this season if Missoula ends up being the glaring problem of us being eliminated in the playoffs?
Well, the captain of the ship is responsible when the ship sinks.
Yeah. I think in that that's the law, that's the rule. But there weren't a lot of great options, right? Like,
that happened at training camp.
Happened at training camp. Was Damien Stoudemire going to be a better was going to be a better head coach than Missoula? Like, I don't know. Who knows that? I have no idea.
I don't know. I think, again, I don't have all the details, but I think the option was suspend Udoka for 20 games and then move the freak on.
We still don't know.
That wasn't Brad's call. That was the owner's call.
Yeah, that was way above Brad's pay raise.
Way above his pay grade.
Somehow they've kept it under wraps, like the whole complete what happened.
I know. All right,
they've done a good job there. That's what you're supposed to do.
A very good job of doing it.
That's what they're supposed to do. Yeah.
They didn't keep the Allen Wiggins thing the Wiggins thing under wraps. That's a bizarre story. If that's true, if you guys heard this?
No.
The Wiggins story? So
No, I don't know anything about it.
So he has left the team for personal reasons.
Wiggins from Golden State.
Yeah, where's his first name?
I don't know.
Not Allen.
No, it's funny.
Andrew.
Jerome.
It's Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins. Alan Wiggins was a baseball player many years ago. All right. So he left for personal reasons, and this rumor, it's a rumor again. This is not substantiated completely. That he found out that he has two daughters. He found out that his daughters are not his, but are his best friends. That his wife has been fooling around with his best friend and bear two children that he's raised. They're like 7 and 5.
Wow.
I'm looking here.
Wow, yeah.
The Twitterverse is talking about Andrew Wiggins being cheated on by his girlfriend of 10 years. They share two daughters.
Kick in the balls.
The Romans also got those kids in the mix.
He owned Tatum in that series last year. Absolutely owned him.
Oh yeah, he was obviously, Steph Curry is like one of the greatest players in the history of the world. But yeah, Wiggins was the wild card that ended up beating us. But that's a crazy story. It's absolutely bizarre. I feel if it's true, I feel so bad for this poor guy.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's rough.
Yeah. So that's when, and then again, the Ja Morant thing is before we go to the Bruins is a bizarre story too. I mean, how do you go to therapy? How do you go to overnight therapy for 2 days?
I just saw the click. He's back on the bench tonight. He's back.
He went to rehab for 2 days. Yeah. How is that going to work out?
It means he's not playing along with this.
No, he's not. He's not playing along at all. All right, I'm going to go. The most exciting part of the show is talking about the Bruins. We are at a point right now, boys, that I haven't said this on the show, but I said this at Tech, that if the Bruins lose, that this will be the worst defeat based on a regular season in the history of
let's not be
modern day sports.
Like what is modern day?
50 years. I'm not doing the 71, 72, 70, 71.
To me, that's like that happened.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Feels like it happened to me yesterday. Scott.
No, I'm not doing that. Russ and I were 5. We're not doing that. We got to move on from that. Russ, would you agree that would be the biggest regular season fail in our life sports?
Yeah, I mean, let's just assume. I'm sure with all the caveats of we don't lose a goaltender, McAvoy doesn't get hurt. Like if they were to play healthy and lose a 7-game series. Now, by the way, like Carolina's a really good team, so
and they've got injuries.
If the Bruins went 7 games and lost to Carolina, it would be really bad. But I don't know if it would be historic if they lost to Carolina, because Carolina's look at Carolina's record. It's really good.
Well,
and they're big, strong, and fast.
I disagree. I think anything with this squad is currently constituted. This is the best team to me since the 70-71 Bruins lost. And to me, they were the best team I ever saw in the history of the NHL. this would be catastrophic to me personally. I fully expect it, especially with the goaltending playing, our goalies are absolutely standing on the head. We have the best team right now and the best goalies. When you have that and you don't win, that is catastrophic.
With the caveat that the team turns to dust after the season's over.
I don't know.
Well,
No, I think there's a lot of talent here, Scott.
Yeah, and the NHL,
Totally.
like you referenced the Bally thing, half the NHL doesn't have a pot to piss in. There's only like a half dozen viable franchises in that NHL, and the Bruins are definitely one of them. There's there's haves and have-nots in that league, and they're going to be a have for the foreseeable future.
Well, look, you take Bergeron and Russ's Binky Krejci off that team next year, and that's a huge.
But how do we
get what and when
Bergeron's? We sure that Bergeron's going to retire?
Yeah,
like, guy's having a great freaking year again. He's having great fun playing hockey.
Playing great.
And Zaka moves to center.
Is Krejci going to retire?
I was with a couple of NHL guys last night. They said, Zaka was the 7th pick in the draft the year he came in.
Yeah.
But he got moved just because they had a losing culture at his team. I mean, he was an extraordinary pickup by the Bruins.
Who did we give up for him?
Like somebody, Zabu or something. I don't even know. But
it wasn't Zaboral.
The team he came from had a losing culture. They didn't trade him not because he was a good player. He was playing inconsistently. He's a talent. He's a talent. This kid is going to have a bright future on this team.
Well, the NHL, there's a lot of teams that don't have much money, and they'll give up talent to the teams like the Rangers and the Bruins and the Canadiens and the Maple Leafs that have plenty of dough. So they should be all right.
Okay.
And I don't believe the loss of Bergeron and Krejci would like it would hurt, but I don't see it bringing us down that much, Scott.
I think because like Russ said, Bergeron might stay, and Zaka just moves into Krejci's spot. You got Bertuzzi now; he'll play on the right wing
if they re-sign him.
Yeah.
Well, other than Carolina, on the road to the Stanley Cup Finals, what team do you not want to play?
Toronto.
Oh, see, I think we got their number.
We got Toronto. Come on, Joe. We're gonna.
Yeah, but Toronto has played them real tough this year.
It doesn't matter.
They like the Jets of the
NHL. You're right, but sooner or later, the blind squirrel's got to win something.
Look, it's Tampa Bay, it's Carolina, it's Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay's Tampa Bay, and then who the hell knows? Like, does Colorado get healthy? If Colorado were ever to get for the finals, healthy, for the finals, and if they went into the finals healthy, that'd be a hell of a series. Holy smokes,
they're big.
I think it'd be a fun series. Edmonton and the Bruins.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just to watch David play
for 7 games.
Oh my, right.
Yeah. And the Kraken are big. The Kraken have a bunch of big players. So
we don't have to worry about those teams until the finals.
Matty Beniers, Hingham's own Matty.
I noticed that
Rookie of the Year.
We lost a big defenseman. Forbert might be out until the playoffs.
Yeah, until the playoffs.
Back, so yeah,
I think they're being very relaxed as far as bringing these guys back. Now they want to give these guys a break. Remember,
I guess Holland Bellino was skating again. They were in practice
they were
today.
Skating this week.
It's a second.
How much fun is it?
There was a team my son used to play with. One kid's up for the Hobie Baker Award from it, and another kid on the team was Matty Beniers. There's a kid at Quinnipiac. He's up for the Hobie Baker Award, and Matty Beniers is up for Rookie of the Year in the NHL. That's a pretty good little Pee Wee team. The other kid was the goalie on the team was the Olympic goalie.
Oh wow!
That's the 2002 South Shore Kings. That's a good little squad.
Remember, guys, we can play a possible 28 games in the playoffs.
I don't know how their bodies take it.
28 games you could play.
At least there's no back-to-backs or anything like that.
Yeah, But
The only time you've seen that was like in the bubble there.
the best site, as you know, I talk about Tankathon all the time. It gives you everything you need about all of life's answers. And they'll give you the playoff matchups up to date. And it's been the last couple of weeks, it's been the Islanders.
Yeah. That's a boring series, but they win it in 4 or 5 tops.
Yeah, but that's the kind of team you want to play, I think, in the first round,
Yeah.
right?
They're not a bad
But
team.
it's a boring, the defensive style. It's not as bad as Ottawa like last night. Ottawa gives the Bruins fits with that
Islanders play in
1-3-1.
Brooklyn.
What's that?
Where the Islanders play in Brooklyn?
No, they play.
Oh.
They play in Long Island still.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, they still do play in Long Island? All right.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, that's our show for today. I want to thank the fellows. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.
That was fun, guys.
Yep.